Hello everybody and welcome to Books Up Close. My name is Chris Lloyd. Today I am talking about a book that I really wanted to love, but did not. And it's The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Vuong. Now, I feel very conflicted about this. This is a nice little hefty book. And those of you that know me, and I'm sure I've said it before in here somewhere along the line, I love On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. All of the people out there who are like, it's not that good, the writing is too poetic, it's too overblown, it's too pretentious. Like, I disagree strongly. I think it is really beautifully written. I think it's really interestingly crafted in a formal way. I think the story is really powerful. I think the way it weaves together all these different parts, Little Dog's kind of letter to his mother, the kind of story of her childhood, his engagement with Trevor and Trevor's opioid addiction, the weaving of all these different kind of metaphors and parts of history and memory and all of the things I just loved in that book. I like Vuong's poetry too. I mean, it's not my favorite. Like, there are individual poems that I think really stand out, but both collections, I like parts of them, but not the whole. However, I really like Ocean Vuong. Like, I think he's really interesting to listen to. However, there is an element of him when he speaks of this kind of like, I'm always saying profound things. And I don't know if everything he says is that profound. But anyway, that's me being shady off the bat, but I don't mean to be. Just that there's a certain element of the kind of, I'm here to tell you something serious, that you get a sense of in this book too, in The Emperor of Gladness, and I didn't love it. The book generally, I think, could be half the length. Like, there is not much plot or story in this book, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not usually a person that's here for just story for the sake of it. That's not my bag. However, because this book is quite kind of rambling and loose and fluid, it does mean that like a good 400 pages feels like 400 pages. There were times when I thought this needs to pick up, or this could be streamlined in some kind of way. The opening chapter, in which you get this really lyrical, beautiful description of the town of East Gladness, is probably some of the best writing in the book, and from there it goes off course in a way. Like, that opening is the kind of poetic, lyrical, image-rich writing that people associate with Vuong, and then after that he kind of abandons it. I've seen a few reviews that are like, oh, the book is characterized by his, distinctive poetic prose, and I don't think it is. Lots of the book is quite, I'm not going to say plain, right? He's not like a Hemingway writer, but it isn't the kind of freewheeling images, metaphors that I would expect from him. There's lots of dialogue, the description is nice, but it's not standout in any way. There were no sentences that I thought, this is it, this is the writing. So that's one of my problems with it. The story kind of opens with this young Vietnamese American boy called Hai, and he's about to jump off a railway bridge, and Gratzina, this old woman that lives by the river, kind of stops him, and she takes him into her home, and he ends up living with her. And they form this really unlikely friendship, right? This old woman and this young queer boy. I found Hai and Gratzina's relationship interesting, but it does kind of sit in one kind of track and doesn't move from that track. I thought the depiction of her dementia was really like moving, but I wasn't totally kind of immersed emotionally. Like, by the end I wasn't sad. Not any spoilers, but like the ending didn't make me super emotional. I thought I might have been invested in these two people at least by the end of the book, but I wasn't, let alone the kind of cast of characters that surround them. Mostly Hai's fellow workers in a kind of local diner. And it's quite tender, it's funny in places, but there wasn't enough to get me through the book to really grip me. You understand kind of why Hai tries to kill himself at the beginning, but I don't feel like there's enough of that story fleshed out. Similarly, Gratzina's gradual deterioration and her relationship to her son, who we meet later in the book, he feels almost cartoonishly like a kind of villain. It felt sketched or sketchy. I don't know, this book just didn't do it for me. There's some like nice moments, and I think the story is good, and the kind of depiction of poverty, of rural life, of this sense of America kind of becoming unmoored or kind of deteriorating in the aftermath of like deindustrialization and all of these things, and the 2008 crash. Like, that's good, but like I've seen this elsewhere though. Like, go to American Rust if you want to read another depiction of this world, of like the Rust Belt and its kind of impact on the body and society. Philip Mayer's book, like, that's fantastic. Like, this book isn't the only one trying to depict this world in the kind of long downturn, and it's good, but I just didn't fully connect with it, which makes me sad because I really like Vuong and I thought this book was going to be the one, right? Like, I was really excited to read it, and I keep seeing reviews that are kind of raving about it. I mean, even Andrea Long Chu, who, you know, I love Andrea's work, she wrote a really good piece on Vuong recently that you should definitely have a look at. And in that, she really takes him to task over that first book. It is scathing in certain ways, but she also is reviewing this new book and really thinks this one is much better and is more interesting. And I don't know, I disagree. So some of you may now be alienated from this video and disagree with me wholeheartedly. And if so, please let me know in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think. But if you also didn't like this book, please let me know. And then I won't feel like I'm so on my own here, out on a limb. It's worth a read. I mean, I would maybe wait till paperback. Do not buy this in hardback. That's my strong warning. If you like Vuong's work, I'm sure you'll get into it and you'll enjoy it. But the things that I love about Vuong, his way with like words, his imagery, his way of looking at the world, his depiction of queerness and its intersections with masculinity and race and class and all these other things, like, that's not as present here as I was expecting and wanting. So you get some of the stuff you want from Vuong, but not some of the other stuff. So that's my rambling take on the Emperor of Gladness. I also hate the title, but anyway, that's just where I'm at. Let me know what you think. Next week in the podcast feed, there is going to be another interview. There will also be some stuff on social media where I'm going to give away some Books Up Close merch. So please keep an eye out for that. I'm excited to send that to you all. Until next time, happy reading. Let me know what you're up to. Subscribe on all the platforms. Share this with a friend. Stay well, look after each other. Love and solidarity.